The remake of Mario vs. Donkey Kong implemented a massive change that you may not have noticed. The points are gone. Why is this a big deal? After all, Mario Wonder got rid of points and no one said boo. What if I told you that the score in Mario vs. Donkey Kong gave way to one of the greatest Mario challenges any gamer can face? Unlike other Mario games where the score number follows you the entire game, the score in Mario vs. Donkey Kong is tied to each individual level. Every level is a clean slate, starting you off at 0 points. Also, each level has a default high score that it challenges you to beat. Beat the high score and receive a star for the level.
Well, who cares about a stupid star?
I'm so glad you asked. See, these stars are more than just a pro gamer marker. They unlock the expert levels. And let me tell you, unlocking the expert levels is no small task. If you can actually unlock all of the expert levels in the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, then I tip my hat to you. The expert levels are still present in the remake. However, since the stars are so much easier to obtain, unlocking the expert levels is easier too. So, how do you get the high score? There are 3 ways to score points in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. 1. Defeating enemies. 2. Getting all 3 presents. And 3. Beating the level as fast as possible for a time bonus. This incentivizes the player to clear all of the enemies and grab all of the collectibles in a level with speed run precision. What turns this from a moderate challenge to an insane challenge is that if you lose a life in the second half of a level, you can kiss bye-bye to the star. Here's why. When you finish the first half of a level, all of the time you had left on that level gets added to the second half of the level. However, if Mario goes Mamma Mia during the second half, that time bonus is erased. Without that time bonus, you will never get enough points to snag the star. One problem with this is that it's pretty tedious to play the first half of a level over and over again, because you keep messing up in the second half. Now let's compare getting stars in the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong to its remake. In the remake, there is no longer a score, but you can still get a star for collecting all 3 presents. This is, to say the least, not as challenging. The presents aren't that hard to get. What made it hard to get the presents and get a star in the original is that you had to do so in such a strict time limit. Let's take a look at a comparison of the same level in both the original and the remake to illustrate just how much the score changes things. This is Mystic Forest 2. It's a relatively simple Mario vs. Donkey Kong level that revolves around avoiding the spear guys to grab the key and get to the door. If you want to get a high score for this level, you're going to have to use hammers to defeat all of the spear guys in your path, while also getting the key as fast as you can. But wait, there's more. Since the points received from mashing a spear guy increases exponentially if you squish them all with the same hammer, there is actually a way to boost your score if you play strategically. Avoid this first hammer here. It's a red herring. Instead, you want to knock out all 4 spear guys using this hammer up here. How do we accomplish this? You have to first press the blue button up here. When you get to the blue button, this spear guy over here is gonna chase you and block you access to the blue ladder. You're going to need to carefully get around him to reach that ladder. Once you get up the ladder, you can defeat spear guys 1 and 2. Now comes the tricky part. Press B to throw the hammer up at just the right spot. Then drop down to grab the hammer when it reaches the bottom of the ladder to get spear guy number 3. Then do another precise drop in order to get spear guy number 4. This will net you a whopping 2,400 points, putting you in range of getting the high score if you play optimally throughout the rest of the level. Compare this to the same level in the remake. Since there are no points, there is no incentive to do this crazy spear guy chain. The problem with removing the points is that it doesn't actually make the game better for anybody. For most people, it will go unnoticed. Most people aren't gonna do this crazy challenge and get a star on every level. And for those people, that's fine. You can still progress and beat the game, star or no star. But for people who really want a challenge, the high score was what tied this game together. Every time I played Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the thought of getting through it as fast as possible affected how I played the game at every turn. It made me want to defeat every enemy. It made me not want to get hit in the second half of the level. It made me figure out the optimal plays and time saves like that crazy hammer chain in Mystic Forest. That's all gone in the remake. And why make it gone? I have a theory. I think Nintendo doesn't want people to feel like they didn't complete the game if they didn't play at near perfect precision. See, in the original, if you don't get a star in the level, you just get this black star-shaped hole telling you you're a failure. So, Nintendo decided to move the goalpost, and move the goalpost they did. Now, if you're just going to comment, it's a game for kids, comment something else. Comment anything, it's good for the algorithm, but don't say it's a game for kids, because this is a game for everyone. And yes, kids and less experienced players should be a part of that, but those players get their casual modes and multiplayer for a simpler experience. I played this game nearly 2 decades ago when it released, and so did a lot of other people. Anyone who was so dedicated to Mario that they picked up this remake because they played the original is bound to be at least a little more skilled at controlling the plumber. So please, Nintendo, stop getting rid of the challenge of these games. Players are only going to get better. Younger and less experienced players can deal with a black outline of a star that says you could have played better. If anything, they should find that encouraging. When I played this game as a kid, I saw those black stars as motivation, something that I wanted to fill in. And you know what? I've never actually done this challenge. So I guess I'm not a real gamer either. Overall, I enjoyed the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake. It was amazing to revisit this GBA classic with updated graphics, and the fact that it added 2 new worlds was an amazing bonus. But if I'm looking for a real challenge, I'm gonna revisit the original instead. Hey, if you like this video on Mario vs. Donkey Kong, maybe you'd want to see my comparison of the original versus remake cutscene. Or if you're a Mario Kart fan, check out this video speculation on some Donkey Kong levels that should be made into tracks in the next Mario Kart game. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.